I just got this John Deere front mount dethatcher and I have it attached to my 318 here. And this is the first front mount dethatcher that I've ever run, so I'm really curious on how it works. So I thought I would bring you along with me for my first run here to really check it out and see how it does. So let's get started. If you're watching this video and you just picked up one of these front mount dethatchers and you're looking to get it installed on your 300 series tractor, then I would suggest watching this video here first. I will also have it linked in the description below and pinned in the comments. In that video, I went over how I installed this and all the adjustments I made to get this dethatcher set up right and ready to go for my first try. There are many different points on this dethatcher that require adjustments, so I would definitely familiarize yourself with how to adjust everything before you get started, and that video is a good place to do it. There's not a ton to know about the operation of the dethatcher. Pretty much you can just lift it up for driving around. It locks into place with the little notch on the handle there, and you can drive around without dethatching or driving over your driveway or wherever you need to do. And then once you get to the point where you want to start dethatching, you just lift up on it, drop it down, and you're good to go. I would imagine that you could put some weight on this dethatcher if you needed to. It is pretty heavy in itself, and I do not believe that it's going to need it, so I'm going to try it without any weight at first just to see how it goes. Might be a little bit hard to tell, but I'm running my dethatcher pretty close to the ground here. It's actually going to tear into the ground in some places because my yard is pretty unlevel. I'm doing that for a reason, because as you can see, I don't really have any good grass left. It is early in the spring here in Minnesota, so the yard does have some growing to do, but I'm going to do a little overseeding right away in the spring here. So I'm actually going to run this a little bit into the ground just to kind of break up that top layer of soil so that when I overseed, I can get that good seed to ground contact. If you have a really nice lawn and you actually have some good grass and you're doing this in the fall, which I believe is the best time to do this, you're probably going to want to run your tines a little bit higher, maybe a half an inch or a quarter of an inch off of your soil. That way you're just picking up the thatch instead of actually digging into the ground and tearing up the roots of your grass. And with all that said, I think the only thing left to do is to just get started. So I'm just going to go back and forth lengthways across my yard here. And then when I get all the way across, then I'll go perpendicular and run front to back. And that will ensure that I get all of the thatch brought up from that soil, because those tines have a little bit of space in between them. So you want to make sure that you're running in both directions so you get 100% coverage with the dethatcher. So here we go. And here is what the yard looks like after one pass. As you can see, my yard is very uneven. Like, you have this patch here that the tines dug in really well and broke up that soil and ripped up that thatch layer. And then you have right next to it that didn't even get touched. It's still thatch layer is still packed in there pretty good, but that's not the dethatcher's fault. That's my terrible yard. So that is after one pass, and now I will go over everything perpendicular, and you'll have to excuse our garden beds here. We're experimenting on where we should put them. I think over here is working better. It's got more sun there. Anyways, back to dethatching. And there's what it looks like after going over it both ways. Got pretty decent coverage. Obviously, it is pretty wide, so those areas that are pretty low are going to be untouched. It did get into this a little bit though. You can see some loose thatch in there. So overall, I think that it hit all the areas pretty well. And now we just got to sweep all of this thatch up. I'm just going to run over everything I dethatched with my AgriFab yard sweeper real quick and pick up any of the loose thatch that's laying on top of the grass. It'll also pick up some of the loose dirt and stuff and just kind of clean up everything in general. And then we'll go over the final result. And this is what the yard looks like when you sweep it all up and get all of that thatch removed. And here you can see all of that thatch that was removed from just this small space in my yard. I mean, that's quite a bit, and I picked up all the sticks and stuff too. That is a healthy amount of thatch that we removed. So I'd say it worked pretty good. And if you're interested, I have a full video on this AgriFab lawn sweeper. I can put the video right here if you're on mobile, otherwise it'll be in the description. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this front mount dethatcher. It worked actually better than I thought, and especially without any weight on it. I was expecting it to bounce a lot or not cut in as well as it did. And also, it's much more easy to control than the pull behind units. If you want to back up with those, you got to put the wheels down most of the time, and you can't really get close to things as much, like if you're going forward towards something. But that's also one thing that I didn't like about this front mount one, is that when I was going towards like my rocks behind my garage, it was flinging things into the rocks, which isn't a huge deal. I can just blow it out, but it is a little bit annoying. The only real problem that I had was not getting down into the dips of the yard, but that's not the dethatcher's fault. That's just my terrible yard. So if you have a nice smooth yard and you actually have some good grass, this thing is going to work really well. But I have to go get started on my front yard. So as always, I have a ton more planned to do with these tractors. So if you don't want to miss anything, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, if you feel like you got something, I would really appreciate a like. And if you have any questions on anything, maybe I missed describing something, please let me know down in the comments. I try to answer as much as I can, so please feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.